Well, how do's and welcome back to the channel. Today is Thursday the 12th of September. And I thought I'd just shoot a quick video. Weather has been awful this week. I was actually hoping to go and do some test rides. I do need to test ride that new Suzuki GSX-S 1000GT. As mentioned previously, I'm actually aboard the GT version of that bike, but yeah, I keep going back to that GX. You know, as I'm getting older and older, I appreciate the additional legroom more and more. However, it has quite a steep entry price. So that's something I still need to consider very carefully before I just pull the trigger on that. And again, I've got the GT until May of 2025. So yeah, two quick issues I thought I'd discuss. The first being that actually, let's take a different route here. Let's go through town. We'll just nip through town very quickly just to give you an idea of Macclesfield area. Yeah, so two issues I'd like to discuss. The very first one was I watched a video yesterday by a chap by the name of Stuart Fillingham, and he mentioned about motorbikes now having to pay a parking fee, which is quite unusual because always, you know, motorbikes were seen as a basic mode of transport. But now certain councils, and they always trial this in London first, you know, Stuart Fillingham's quite correct where he mentions that they'll trial this in London first before pushing it out to the rest of the UK. And what they do is they'll get motorcyclists used to paying for parking, and then it could extend to other vehicles. Who knows, they might even extend it to bicycles. You never know what's going to happen. Well, I should also add that today it's quite Brassic. It's only about 12 degrees Celsius today. Now, my mates, they were going to be riding up in, I think, in Yorkshire Dales, in that sort of area. I gave up the opportunity. I've not been feeling very well this week. You know, we recently just got back from Netherlands, and I don't know if I've just picked up a bug on that flight coming back. And that's another thing. I'll do some videos of our visit to Netherlands. We were invited to a festival at one of our mates' houses. Oh my goodness, that vehicle's smoking quite a bit. Lexus. And it stinks. Yeah, so we were invited to a festival at our mate's house over in Netherlands. We went to two places in the Netherlands. We flew into Amsterdam, and we decided to go and have a quick look-see in Amsterdam. And my son mentioned to us that we should try out the ice bar, so that's one of the venues that we visited in Amsterdam. Flew into Amsterdam late afternoon, went to ice bar, had a good time there, and then headed back down to Amersfoort. But we only managed to get down to Amersfoort between 10 and 11 o'clock. And that was an event itself. On the way to Amersfoort, we got off the bus, started walking down one of these roads down to the sort of farm area that we were staying in. And there was a chap that came whizzing past us, an elderly chap, cycling past us. Most people have got bicycles. And further up the road, we bumped into him again on the side of the road, sprawled out on a bench, clutching his chest and his left shoulder, and the fellow had a heart attack. So thankfully there were two local teenage Dutch people, so they were able to phone and communicate with the emergency services. And yeah, my other half, she just sat there comforting him, and I stood around because I was the one that asked the Dutch teenagers if they could phone emergency services. I was quite prepared to do it myself. But yeah, thankfully they were able to communicate with emergency services. Unbeknown to us, that fella that had the heart attack, he had previously suffered with heart issues. So yeah, let's hope he's made a full recovery. The ambulance did arrive and sort him out. So that's what we did this recent weekend. We went to Netherlands, came back, and yeah, I've picked up some sort of bug because it's been that cold. Brassic, right? Brassic, I don't know if my English viewers they can just enlighten us as to the definition of brassic. Personally I think it's a mix of two words, brass monkey, but also Baltic. Here in the UK they say when the weather gets really cold they say Baltic. I believe there's an Arctic wind that's come through, and that's why people are dressed so warmly at the moment. It's meant to be 12 degrees Celsius today. I've actually got my heated gloves on, just in case. I've also got a fleece and then also a windbreak underneath my outer jacket. So hopefully I'm protected from the wind. Yeah, so on to the stories. So the very first thing I wanted to mention was that this Stuart Fillingham, he mentioned about the motorbikes now having to pay for parking in London. And you know, in the old days, I said the old days, gee, it wasn't that long ago, many years ago, a motorbike was seen as a basic form of transport, but now there wasn't any method to attach the parking stickers that we used to get a number of years ago. Everything's moved so fast, you know, since the recent lockdowns over the last few years. Technology has moved on really quickly now. With parking, everything now is done by a smartphone, so now there's no excuse for not having a ticket attached to your vehicle. So that's why they can now ask for some motorcyclists to pay for their parking, because it's all linked to your registration plate. As I mentioned earlier, this is Macclesfield. We're just going through the back end of town. We passed the High Street area. Unfortunately, it's no motor vehicle traffic through the High Street. As a change, I thought I'd just pop down here. Right, so that was Stuart Fillingham. I see you've got quite a big following on YouTube. He's a UK motor vlogger, but he does talk a lot about political issues here in the UK and States of the Nation, etc. Very interesting. I'll give him a watch. And then the second video I actually watched this one this morning from Geoff Buys Cars. Geoff, he's a man after my own heart. He runs old diesel vehicles. Now, I've had my opportunity in the past to buy myself some very flash vehicles. You know, I've been through that whole driving flash BMWs, etc. Oh crumbs, where is this person going? I don't think he knows where he's going. He was on his phone too. So yeah, I've been through that whole phase of my life, buying flash cars, etc. And now I just can't be bothered. I'd rather just have a car that's, you know, it'll get me to work, gets me from A to B, gets me to work, it's cheap, it's paid for. Many years ago, in 2015, I was out of work for about 4.5 months, and nothing worse than having a flash car parked in your drive, but you can't even afford the fuel to put in it to go anywhere. So yeah, I gave up on that idea relatively quickly. So at the moment I drive an old Volvo V70. It's only a 2-litre. I would have preferred to have got myself the larger, 2.4-litre diesel. Now my daily commute to work is 82 miles round trip. Hence the reason why I've gone for a diesel, an older diesel. My Volvo's got over 130,000 miles. I think it's close to 133,000. I paid £3,000 for it, spent a couple of thousand doing it up. Actually, there's one there that's just gone past in the direction. Slightly older than mine. I think mine's a 2010. But yeah, I fancied an automatic with a larger engine, and Geoff Buys Cars, his channel is all about people driving older diesel vehicles and getting the very most for your money's worth out of those old diesels. And he just mentioned this morning about electric vehicles and the glut of electric vehicles for sale on AutoTrader in the UK. I think he mentioned there was in excess of 20,000 vehicles, and all less than 4 years old, and majority of them less than 10,000 miles. Lord Bilius, there's the cameras I was talking about, right at the bottom of Captain Fiddle. I mentioned that to Lord Bilius a while ago, and he said to me, oh no, there's the cameras are further up. And I mentioned to him, no, recently they had put some more average speed cameras further down on Captain Fiddle, the A537 that runs between Macclesfield and Buxton. So yeah, go and have a look there, Lord Bilius. You said you'd come up here for a ride to have a look and investigate, and there it is, as I mentioned, right from the bottom of the hill, average speed cameras, no faster than 50 miles per hour, although I think it would be quite difficult to achieve that 50 miles per hour along here anyway. Right, so back to the story. Geoff buys cars, and he makes a valid point. You know, trying to buy he mentions about the electric vehicles, and they're relatively young, less than 4 years old. He says it tails off significantly if you're trying to find a vehicle that's older than 4 years, or if you're trying to find an electric vehicle that's older than 4 years, you'll struggle. There's not many available. So a lot of the vehicles, these electric vehicles for sale in the UK, they are either new or used, less than 4 years old. He mentions that a lot of them have got less than 1,000 miles, and the vast majority have got less than 10,000 miles. So, he was just asking the statement. He was asking the questions. Now Volvo did a study some years back saying that the break-even point of an electric versus diesel car is about 100,000 miles. He said that there was another study he's aware of that now states 40,000 miles, where that's the break-even point. Electric vehicle has to get to 40,000 pounds. Electric vehicle has to get to 40,000 miles, and then it's on par with a similar combustion engine or internal combustion engine vehicle. But as Geoff rightly pointed out, Geoff buys cars. You can't really find, or you cannot find, any electric vehicle on AutoTrader more than 40,000 miles here in the UK. You'd be hard pushed to find an electric vehicle with more than 40,000 miles. The majority seem to be 10,000 miles or under. He then made the point of, okay, let's just say for him, his ideal car would be something like a BMW, a 320 diesel BMW to get to work. So he must be driving similar miles to myself. He must have a long commute, which is something I would look at. Again, I would look at a BMW estate or Volvo estate, something like that, diesel. And he said if you had a look now in the UK, he could only find one BMW 320 diesel on AutoTrader, which to him means that they must be quite sought after. So it seems that people here in the UK aren't going for electric vehicles. They all seem to be hankering after the old diesels, the internal combustion engines, because they've realised that these electric cars just aren't living up to the hype. Me personally, I've got a long commute to work, prefer diesel. My 82 miles, I know I can drive to work and I can get at least 2 weeks worth before I have to refuel. Now I've got a boss at work, one of the managers. He drives all the way from down south. He drives from Reading up to Ellesmere Port where we work, and it's about a 200-mile commute. And he has a Tesla. Now that's about 200 miles, and each time he comes up for work, he has to stop at one of the services just to charge up. So I mentioned to him, because I was quite interested in these electric vehicles, and he just said to me, if I were you, I'd just stick to either a diesel truck or stick to a diesel vehicle that you have. I think everybody at work is trying to get me to buy a newer car because they see the state of my car. It's an old 2010 diesel Volvo V70 estate, and yeah, it's a bit naff, but oh well, it does the job. It was cheap, it's paid for, don't have to worry about it. Does exactly what I need of it. and yeah, I don't have to keep stopping and refilling or charging the batteries, etc. Hence the reason why I went for a diesel. You know, just sustained high speeds on the motorway. Apparently that's something that electric vehicles don't like. They don't operate best at sustained high speeds on motorways. I wasn't aware of that until I found that information in one of these videos. It might even have been Geoff Buys cars. So yeah, those are the two little issues I wanted to talk about, two recent videos that are fresh in my mind, and I just found it very interesting. You know, Stuart Fillingham, give him a watch on YouTube, motorcycles, and also Geoff Buys cars. He talks a lot about, Geoff Buys cars talks a lot about diesel vehicles or internal combustion engines versus the electric vehicles. He did quite a long series of a Porsche Taycan. Let's go here to Goat Valley. He did a series of a Porsche Taycan versus his diesel. I can't remember exactly where they went. It was probably south of France and back. Quite interesting that. Right, yeah, now I'll get on to the other issue. My work contract. So this is now the 7th week being out of work, and I was called by the agent yesterday. Apparently they're keen for me to start up, so I've accepted their offer, and they believe it's going to be a week from Monday, so that would make it 7 weeks out of work if I start a week from Monday. However, the project, they're keen to have me, they're pushing to get me back this coming Monday, so that would only be 6 weeks out of work. But yeah, fingers crossed. So hopefully all of that works out. Oh, look at the reservoir up ahead there. I don't usually come this way. I've only been here a handful of times. And you know, I had to remind myself the name of the reservoir, and I've probably forgotten. But there's a sign at the entrance to the turn there, Goat Valley. Yeah, because the weather's been so awful, I'm expecting loads and loads of rubble here on the roads. Oh, the road's actually quite wet. Oh, doesn't look good. Just slow right down. Not quite the adventure bike, this. Let's see if we can get a proper look at that reservoir. The roads are still damp in places. Yeah, the sun came out this morning briefly and seems to have done its job. Now, although it's 12 degrees Celsius, the roads here have dried out in the sun, which is brilliant. Fields down there. Apologies for that, you can hear my voice is breaking, cracking. Yeah, I've been really struggling since I got back from the Netherlands. I took a couple of paracetamol last night, you know, by order of my other half, and I feel a lot better for it today, so yeah, thanks very much, Jude. Those dark clouds there. Yeah, it looks like it's threatening to rain. Don't know if it is going to rain today. The reservoir. I'll tell you what I'll do. I know the reservoir starts with the letter L. Is it Lamaload or Lamaload? I'll put the name of the reservoir on the screen so you can see. Unless I see a sign for sale. Looks like people have ripped off the sign there, off that pole. The van down there. Somebody's got a good spot. Now I'm just looking at my GoPro. There seems to be moisture on the inside of the GoPro. That's incredible. Considering that these GoPros are meant to be waterproof, etc., etc. That's no good. I saw that they've got the new GoPro Hero 13 that's come out, and yeah, I believe I need to do a quick update on my video equipment. So once I get the opportunity here to pull over, I'll do that. I'll restart videos, and then I'll talk about my video equipment. Yeah, I can't see anything mentioning that. Mentioning that reservoir. Tell you what, people don't really use this road. So stop.